This is the north side of the garden. All my fall asters are done. And this azalea was here when we moved in 40 years ago, and it has grown a ton. One of my decorations, old orchard heater, and a gazing globe. Kind of a distance view of the garden. This is the side fence that I completely took apart and redid, putting in posts and new 4x4 or 2x4s. And it goes all the way back to our junk area. And that's our trumpet vine junk area. You can see the new section that I ran out of wood, and then I redid our gate as well. Enough of that. Pretty ugly. We have really nice neighbors next door. On both sides, we're lucky. So here we are at the pond area. These are dry ponds now. For 20 years, I had two ponds. A little upper one that flowed into this lower one. But it got to be too much to take care of and too expensive. It's all outlined with these rocks, which I was given by our old neighbor, who has since left for his greater reward, but he was a rock hound, gave me green jasper and red jasper and, oh gosh, quartz and lava rock, all kinds of stuff, some little bit of carnelian, and so I used it to outline both ponds. I still missed my water, so now we have a fountain. The birds love the fountain, and on we go. This green hose is my soaker hose. It comes down in the winter. It's a little corner bench that I like to sit on. And this little girl's name is Helena. Had her for years. Little cafe table. This is French sorrel, which is wonderful in soup. And we are underneath my ornamental crabapple, which I love, and it has all the pink flowers in summer. The fruit's not edible. Animals like it. And the birds love this tree, and they chatter away, the sparrows and finches. This looks messy, but this is the elecampane, another herb that's really leafy and has tall stalks with pretty little mini flowers that look like sunflowers. These green leaves are bog arum, and in the spring, this entire area will be covered with it. And then it dies down with the heat. One of my many comfrey plants that has come up by root. Some oat grass and some zebra grass. And one of my favorite gazing globes is this beautiful pink globe. It's heavy and it came from Poland. This is another view of the ponds. It's almost 3 in the afternoon. It's pretty shady right now. And this is looking back to our deck and the breezeway and out front to the driveway and the street. And the grapevine and the blue sky, which I love. So you can see all the bark I put down. Irises. This is another path. Goes out to the grass. Or, hello, garden angel. It also leads down to the shade garden. I'll go out on the grass. This sculpture was done by a good friend of mine, local artist named Claire Barr Wilson, and it's a finial. It's on a galvanized pipe, and each piece is stacked on top of the other. And she got the idea for making these from the rooftop slate finials in France, that gargoyles and such that would keep the slate roof panels on, or tiles, I should say. Anyway, it's a wonderful sculpture. I'll come around here. Oh, hello, borage, growing right in the middle of the path. I love it. Keep it for the bees. The finial has the heron and fish and whatnot. These pots in the ground have Tim's tulips and narcissus in there, ready for springtime. Here's one of the big quartz rocks that my neighbor gave me. There's my shadow, me and my shadow. Finally finished weeding this hideous Bermuda grass. Bird feeders, gazing globes, the froggy bird bath, one of my little glass sculptures, more gazing globes. This was a yellow rose bush that Larry's mother gave us back in the 80s. It died with the big freeze of 89 when it got to 6 below. And the rugosa rose came up in its stead. It's the rootstock rose that most roses, I think all roses come from. So, looks a little bare now, but it'll be full of red flowers in the springtime. I have to put some of these long flowers out. Bottle tree. I love bottle trees. And this is Tim's Mickey Mouse phone. So every time I see it, I think of him. He and his brother helped a lot in this garden when they were younger. And I have some barrel iron straps that held. I had half barrels for water features, and they all fell apart, and I kept the iron. It's rusted, and so it's on the fence on an old dead branch. And here I am tilting to the right. That's a joke. Bird feeders. Sorry for the sun. This is a climbing rose called Summer Showers. They're lovely yellow. And in the center of the yard is our wisteria, which had gorgeous blooms. This spring was lovely. And we're entering the shade garden, going through the archway. And summer phlox, which are tall white flowers. And thyme, which is right there, which has been in for years and years and years. And this is valerian. And here's a little bit of yarrow. And I love hellebores, so I have them too, reds and whites, and some new ones in the back, which you can't see. This is Hebe. I put the glass ball there, I love it. And the comfrey, which will not die. Little hollyhock, I planted seeds a couple years ago, and I didn't think it was going to come up, but it did. They look like little hibiscus. There are those iron rings. Old Photinia branch. Right now I have privet that grows instead. Hopefully it'll keep. And one lonely lavender, which still seems to bloom. One potted plant. I think this is Louisiana iris. It's pretty wet back here when I'm watering in the summer. And another little cafe table. Some painted windows I put up. Old windows from a neighbor's house. One of the glass panels has fallen. This was my mom's Celtic cross sculpture. After she passed away, I brought it over here. A couple of old tea kettles, one from camping and one from Larry's grandmother. And here is our wonderful apple tree, which is over 100 years old, our tree fellow told us. And this is the shade that we have all summer long, spring to fall into early winter. It's barely started to drop its leaves, but needs to be pruned. It did have a graft, as you can see here, which fell off years ago. The tree is slowly rotting from the inside, but in the meantime, we have a little spirit house for my granddaughter Cinderella and the dragon. A mirrored door that I bought at a yard sale for $5. And a float, Japanese float. Got them in San Luis Obispo, California, several of them, when we visited my sister-in-law earlier. So there's the mirror. It's getting a little hazy, but it reflects the garden. And a bench. And this, in front of the green bench, is foxglove. And it was blooming like crazy this summer, and it has enough new leaves. I think we'll have some nice plants next year. Buddha down there, the turquoise blue. And another orchard heater. This is the south side of the yard. And it's hard to see, but on this, the black wrought iron archway is a really tall climbing red rose. and it is really nice in the summer. And roses in front of our back bedrooms and my office. Archway with hanging wind chimes. One of them's made out of spoons. And a wind spinner that I got, which is a hideous green, but I liked the sparkles on it. And this was a patch of yarrow that grew, so I decided to keep it, and we had 5 stalks of flowers. So it's just a patch of yarrow in the middle of the grass. Our sweet Buster, our tuxedo cat, is buried right here, right about where my shadow is, right with St. Francis. That was also Mom's. Here's a close-up of my spoon chime, silver spoons. I just bent the handles and used fishing line to hang it. And this tall little viney thing is hops. And I planted the stalk, which I've cut. I planted milkweed, but not one monarch butterfly came to the yard this year. With all the fires, I'm not surprised. Lavender, more bark on the pathway. Lavender is so pretty in the spring, early summer. And back to the deck. Here's another view of the wisteria from this end. I put these in, oh gosh, probably close to 30 years ago. I love the trunks. One Mother's Day, Larry helped me put in the iron or steel posts into cement, and there are steel cross beams, and so the wisteria just rests on top of the support and not wrapped around it. That way it will not pull it out of the ground. If you plant wisteria near your house, be prepared for roots that could lift the house off the foundation. There's a distance view of the apple tree. Such valuable shade. I love it. This has been 40 years of work. I don't want to say work. It's been wonderful. I've enjoyed it. Gradually dug up the yard, planted things. And there's another view of our grapes and our deck. Oh, and a garbage barrel. It's not garbage, it's green, because I mowed the lawn today and cut some off the fall asters. This is a little area. I'm growing hoses, as you can see, and footprints from my grandchildren that my daughter-in-law and son gave me for my birthday one year. And the handprint is Michaela's, the large footprint on the right was Matthew's, and the tiny footprints are Madison's when she was born in 2001. And this is losing its leaves, but it's fall. It loses all of them in the winter. This is lemon elderberry. Berries are not edible, but it was a gift from the local art group when Tim passed away, and I just love it. And with the blue pot and these yellow-green leaves, it's so pretty in the summer. It's sending out all kinds of shoots on the stems, and next year it will really have tons of leaves again. And that's about it. Love our deck. It's 16 feet square. Old, but satisfying. I hope you've enjoyed my little tour. And it would be lovely if you could come visit someday. Thanks for watching.